Where is the chat? Oh. Yo! What's up, Steve? Amazing. Can I move this? Oh, I can. Clever. What's up, man? Can you confirm that like you're hearing me and everything? I don't know how much delay there is. Amazing. Look at the people that are showing up. That's so cool. So what's up, guys? So what I'm doing here is I'm just testing the setup. I just recorded for like 10 minutes doing a bunch of different stuff with moving cameras around on different tripods and trying to figure out how to set this up. So basically, like, you know, I was watching Dr. Frunky's live stream and that was really great, but you know, he's not like really about showing his face or anything, but like I have been, you know what I mean? Like I've done oh, I can look at the camera and then it's like I'm talking to you, duh. And you know, I've done like the vlogs and stuff. So I really wanted to do a setup where, you know, I could have like, you see like knives on a table and everything and, you know, be able to pick stuff up and like showcase it and do all that fancy stuff. But also for you to like be able to see my face. You know, Frunky kept having to say stuff like, I'm reading, you know, that's why I'm not responding to you. And so like now you can see me reading. Yeah, can I move the stuff on the table? Yeah, definitely. So it's interesting. What I'm doing is my phone is streaming its screen to my computer, and I'm using an app on the computer to record the screen. So it's not recording anything. And weirdly, and the reason that you can like see, well, maybe you can't anymore in the stream, but you should be able to see like parts of the iPhone. I don't think you can see it on the stream, but so like basically my phone is just like in video mode right now, but it's not recording anything because all that's happening is I'm using software to record the screen of the iPhone. So even though right here what you can see is this is the tripod and setup that I use with my iPhone to record my videos, but it's perfect for this as well. Sorry, I totally spaced because I started reading. It's so interesting that people are talking. I didn't think anybody would actually show up to me testing this out, but no, that's really exciting. I'm glad that you guys like the setup. I thought it was really clever. So yeah, it's like I'm like recording the iPhone screen is what I was saying. But everything else about the setup's pretty normal compared to or like pretty normal in terms of the reviews that I record. So the mic's in the same place, the tripod's in the same place. I realized I could even bust out the cutting board and have like the whole same setup and everything. So yeah, this is I'm really excited about this setup. All right, cool. So it's working. I got time, so I can hang out with you guys. I'll be perfectly frank. I mean, there's 5 of you here. All right, so I'm not very public about this. I don't really like to share this all the time, but there's 5 of you. So I'll tell you that I'm pretty fucking stoned right now. I gotta remember to look at the camera. Pretty stoned. So yeah, I can hang out with you guys for a little bit. You know, I'm waiting on a bunch of knives to come in on order, which I'm really excited about, but the collection's pretty slim right now. I got this 717 today. I won this in a raffle on Instagram from Adam Purvis, A Purvis Blades. And sorry, I keep burping. I ate like brisket for dinner and it was delicious, but it's definitely making me burp. I won this in a raffle that was ran by Adam Purvis on Instagram. He is actually the one who's done my done my Timascus clips for my tie bolts. Which, by the way, these pens are amazing. If you have an opportunity to own one, I strongly encourage you to do so. Of course, I got all the upgrades, custom Timascus clip, cap spin from Tata Tools. It's the only way to do it. Steve, who is in the chat recently, picked up a copper tie bolt as well as a full-sized regular tie bolt. It's a deluxe, the deluxe milling. LOL California. I'm in Virginia. I'm a bit of a lawbreaker. How is the detent on the Wii? So the interesting thing about this knife is that it's got a really fantastic deployment. The lock bar is pretty strong, and there's like no dropping here, right? Like that took a lot of effort. So it's really solid. The deployment here. I have the perfect knife actually to compare this to. It's this one. This is my JD Van Deventer frame lock flipper is all it's called. There's no like name for it. This knife is running on phosphor bronze washers, and these two knives have essentially identical actions. They both make, and by identical, I don't just mean they sort of deploy the same and drop the same. I mean literally everything up to the acoustics is extremely similar on these knives. So I would say they both take the same amount of strength to break the detent on. They both deploy at the same speed. They both make extremely similar sounds when they lock up. And they both take about the same amount of effort to sort of whip shut. Now, it has to be said that the Wii knife is, of course, larger and on bearings. So, you know, that is what it is to you. This knife also costs twice as much and is a custom, whereas this is production. So it's hard to say, but, you know, I love the way this knife deploys, and this knife deploys the same way. I think it's fantastic. Ultimately, after I review it, I'll probably sell it just because money's money and I got knives to buy. But I like it a lot, and it's purple and gray, which is a dope color combo, and they absolutely crushed it with the carbon fiber inlay here. It's super sick. So definitely look out for that video. Excited to talk to you guys more about this one. The next video to come out is in, what's today? Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday. So I guess one came out yesterday. So the next video will be out Monday, and it's actually the, I'm really excited for it. It's the Reich Hummingbird, which I have laying around here somewhere. This little bugger, one of my favorite little novelties. It rained here today and went up about 40 degrees in terms of the average standing temperature. So my hands are really sweaty because it's super humid right now. I have a dehumidifier running all day and it's still super sticky in here. So definitely going to slip on this tiny little flipper tab a little bit. But yeah, next video to come out is the Reich Hummingbird. Where's the camera? Very excited to share that one with you guys. I'm thinking about selling the full size and getting another tiny tie bolt. Really, Steve? See, for me, owning one of each is definitely like a big deal. I don't know if you've seen NJMS_EDC on Instagram. He's got a Celtic Knot full size tie bolt that, while I really like that pattern on the tiny bolt, I think, man, it just looks so good in the full size. But that's cool, man. 2 tiny bolts. Interesting. Are you thinking about going with like a mill pattern or something? I was considering a tie scribe from Urban Survival Gear. That sounds familiar. I don't know what that is off the top of my head, but I've seen that. I'll have to look at what that is. Unfortunately, I can't really access my phone because you're looking at it. Reich knives are beautiful, but the few I've handled actions are meh. Vextos, you could not be any more on point. I have a good friend, Mr. HK Winger on Instagram. He and I speak on the phone quite frequently. He was actually interested in purchasing the Thor 5, which if any of you have seen it, has like a skull and a spine milled into the spine of the handle. It's an integral, and it has the spine kind of milled into it. And he thought it was cool, and he knew that I checked out Reich's table at New York Custom Knife Show, because, you know, I obviously have the video of it online, and so he asked me about them, and I was like, man, there's this thing about Reich. Okay, the second video ever on this channel, back before I even knew what I was doing here, is a Reich 1504 or 1508, and you know, that was the first Reich that I came into contact with, and the action was just not good. And at the time, the other knives that I was purchasing were WE knives and ZTs, you know, most notably the WE knife 604D, probably my favorite knife of all time in terms of emotional attachment, just because this was the knife. This was the first knife on the channel. This was sort of the knife that really blew this hobby up for me and really just took me, I mean, it was like everything I bought before this knife was sort of, forgive me for saying like low end, but was like normal stuff, standard, Benchmade, things under $100, Bokers, stuff like that. And then after this knife, it was like straight to the moon, right? Like this knife was $250, and then the next one was an Olamic 247, you know, and the next one was like a fucking Todd bag. Like, I definitely took off with that one. Fuck, I'm like losing my train of thought. Right knives are beautiful, right? So I'm at, all right. So yes, their actions are not good, and the thing is, their deployments are usually okay. They're either like average or above average, but they are always bad closing. They're gritty. They never drop at all. And they really fight you. And they're so bad with it. And so I'm at New York Custom Knife Show, and you can kind of, if you go to the video that I had of the table at Reich, you can see this moment happen. Like, we don't talk about it in the video, but like you can see the moment that it happens. The guys at the Reich table that work for Reich, they're like trying to like flip this knife that they have, and he like, I don't know, he does something and he drops it. So he's like holding this full Damascus integral, right? That probably cost them $1,000 in materials alone just for the handle, you know, for a billet that thick. He drops this onto another one of their full custom knives. So it's like, dude. And he worked for Reich, so he like couldn't deploy it or something. Something slipped. He dropped the knife. It fell. It fell into another knife, and that knife slid off the table. And like literally the tip of the knife, it was open. It came like right here to this dude's crotch off the table, and then like stopped. Oh, sorry, my hand's not in frame. Like right here, and yeah, I picked up every single one of those knives at the show, and they were all terrible in terms of the action. They make a beautiful, beautiful knife, and the Hummingbird, actually, my review on this is remarkably positive. I think this knife is probably the best knife they've ever made, and maybe the only knife that I would be like, it's worth every penny. I love this thing, but everything else they made is just, it's so wanting, and it sucks because compared to like their main competitors, right, which would be like Kaiser and WE, and Riate, or Riat, as Austin says. He would know better than I do. They just don't even hold a candle. And then, you know, if you look at similar American makers like ZT and whatever, still, you know, there's just no contest. Like, I got this couple of ZTs here. I mean, I think ZT makes a great knife, so. Alright, what else is being said? Shabazz did a video on the Tie Scribe. Oh, Tie Scribe is a pen. Right, got it. Okay, that makes much more sense. Here's my reasoning for not buying other pens and like only being interested in tie bolts. It's not because I think tie bolts are the best pens. I don't. I think they're really good pens, I don't think they're the best pens. If I wanted really good pens, I would own Tybolts and other pens. The reason I only want to own Tybolts is because of the aftermarket customization options that are available, and because of the highly intricate mill patterns that I've only personally seen Fellholter do. You know, I've seen milling done on other pens and stuff, but like the cleanliness with which his patterns are executed, and particularly things like the anodization on the interior of this pen. I don't know if you guys have seen on my Instagram, like the super close-up macro shots that are like 3 across of this pen. It is stellar. But honestly, being able to get somebody to make me a custom clip, I could do that with any pen probably. But, you know, it's nice that they're pretty simply done with the Tybolt, because usually makers who do this stuff already have a template for the Tybolt, whereas other pens you might have to send your pen away. And then, you know, it's cool that Fellholter himself got into the Fab Cap, but I like Tata Tools cap spins. They're also cheaper and easier to find. But, yeah, I just like that they're so highly customizable. I don't have my other Tybolt. It's in the other room. I don't want to go get it. But I recently got a zirconium tip for it as well to match the black Timascus in the clip. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, I heard that in your video, LMAO. Yes, that was a brutal moment. I'm really glad that guy did not get stabbed in the dick, because I've been to 2 shows now, right? Blade Show and New York Custom Knife Show, and 0 incidents related to knives have happened in terms of injuries. So that's really nice. You know, a lot of people, when I first was talking about going to Blade Show at work, a lot of my coworkers were like, "Aren't you afraid you're going to get stabbed?" And I was like, no, nobody gets shot at gun shows. Like, these are enthusiasts, man. Like, everybody's like super, although when I was at Blade Show, and Nick Shabazz actually spoke about this in his Blade Show review, which I thought was a really good video, but, you know, he talked about the Balisong kids that are just like, they're like walking around in packs and just fucking like, here, I have one actually. I have this Benchmade trainer. It's the Zenith trainer. Watch, I'm gonna break some shit while I'm doing this. But yeah, you know, they're like, all around the show floor with these super sharp, you know, crazy things and whatever. That was ridiculous. Free vasectomy from Reich, tempting. Yes, yeah. If they got some tips from Riat, it would be a huge force. Yeah. The one thing that Reich really does well, there's two things I like that Reich does. I really like their design methodology. What I mean by that is they tend to build one model a few different ways. Olamic has really kind of caught on with this, with, you know, you can get a harpoon blade 247 now, and you can get the busker with 3 different blade shapes, you know. So blade shapes is kind of like an interesting new twist on how you set up different models, as opposed to just like maybe different blade finishes, like on a Wii knife perhaps. I really like that their lineup usually has like a couple versions of each knife. Usually there's like a drop, or like, I don't know, a regular blade and then like a Tonto, or they'll do like a milled version and a non-milled version, or whatever, some special editions. They like to experiment and do different things, which I appreciate. So I like their methodology with their modeling. I like that they have that like futuristic look and everything. I think they're like on the right track with all that. And I really like that they're willing to do fun and quirky stuff like the Hummingbird here. So I really enjoy their approach to knife making. And the other thing, and this was something that, again, I talked to Winger about, that I really liked, you know, no other production company, certainly, let alone custom knife maker, is experimenting with full Timascus integrals, right? I'm not saying it's never been done, right? Like, I'm sure somebody out there is like, well, I know a guy who makes knives who did that. Like, okay, cool. But in terms of like at scale, nobody's making Timascus integrals, which was something that they really, that was a real big surprise, them doing that for New York Custom Knife Show. That was cool. And they sourced a lot of that Damascus that you saw on those knives from New Jersey, which I thought was interesting, that the Chinese company was sourcing their steel from where the show was. That might have been like a translation thing. There was like a guy who like spoke English, like a white dude, who was talking to me, and he was kind of like translating for the representative who was there, who didn't speak any English at all. He said that they sourced it from New Jersey. I don't know about all that. But yeah, that's what I like about Reich, and pretty much everything else I don't like. I think their release schedule is way too slow, right? Like, for every 5 models that we introduces to the market, Reich introduces maybe 1. Slow pace, not seeing an improvement over the last 2 or 3 years in terms of action. It's concerning. Never understood ballad songs. You know, Steve, I don't understand ballad songs with edges at all. At this point, I've owned 4 or 5 ballad songs, maybe 6, and I'd say 60 or 70% of those have been trainers. I've owned 3 live blades, but 2 of those were Benchmade 51s, what I just had there, that had both. I have a live blade for that and the Zenith trainer blade. I've had that exact knife twice, two different ones of the same thing. Both were the same knife, both had a Zenith, and both had a live blade. But I don't use live blades because, well, I mean, I don't know if you guys remember, I have pretty noticeable nerve damage all through here because of when I cut my hand with that stupid fidget spinner knife. And so, yeah, the idea of being interested in flailing around a sharp edge is insane to me. But I do enjoy my trainer ballad songs, mostly in the same sense that I enjoy fidget spinners, right? Just like, maybe I'm like watching a video that I'm not like super interested in, or like that I'm just trying to really listen to, or, you know, maybe I'm just chilling to some music and whatever, and sometimes it's just fun to flip a trainer. That's it. Don't get me started on a Lamech. Benjamin, what's up, man? Yeah, you and I have both not had very good experiences with a Lamech. Thanks for showing up, man. Good to see you. Do I have an Arius? Very smart man. Good question. I don't. There is one currently in the U.S. Postal Service on its way to me, and it belongs to one Echo Does Knives. You guys have seen recently, he posted his full collection pic on Reddit. It's the marble carbon fiber front side show scale, whatever. You know, I was going to say frame lock, but they're actually all frame locks, right? It'd be really cool to see them do a liner lock. So I have an Arius on the way. I haven't purchased an Arius for one very specific reason, and it'll be really interesting to see when I get it if this is still a problem for me. I'm very excited to try it out because the flipper tab to me looks completely unbearable. Like, it just looks, the shape of it looks awful to me. So I'm really hoping to get it and to find out that it's rounded off and that it's actually a totally non-issue. And considering the popularity of the knife, I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. But up to this point, I haven't bought one because of that reason. So it's cool. Echo mailed it out to me today. So it should be here, I don't know, Monday or Tuesday. So yeah, I'm going to check out the Arius. Still collecting South African made knives. Let's see. This is technically South African. The knife missing from this pile is my JD Van Deventer Gold. I have a full-size gold, the first run of 30, coming to me hopefully at the end of January. Yes, I collect South African knives. They're my favorite. They are my favorite. I feel like this isn't everything. I feel like I'm missing something, but I guess I'm not. This is obviously nowhere near all the South African knives that I've owned. I sell a ton of knives. Anybody who doesn't know that already. I don't make a ton of money, so usually I have like a 1 in, 1 out policy. That's not always true. I don't always succeed at that, but yeah, I have to sell a lot of stuff to buy stuff. So, it's my JD Van Deventer Kenpachi that I feel like is missing, and that's because I recently sold that to fund something that's on the way right now. Let's see, there's 11 of you. I'm willing to spoil the surprise for 11 of you. The maker Will Colazzo, who is the understudy of Shark Knife Co. and VI Knives, the Barajas brothers. I'm not 100% sure that's how you pronounce their name, but they are... Oh, well, see, this says Made in USA. I guess this is Chris Reeve before he... or after he came to the U.S. This is not one of the South African ones. That's why it was so cheap. All right, well, I'll get rid of that then. Fine. That's out of there. Yeah, he made those mini Bushidos, which I thought was really cool. So I ordered one of those, and I had to sell the JD Van Deventer Kenpachi to make up for that. It's, I requested the same carbon fiber finishing on the gold as I had on the Kenpachi, so I was like, I don't really need two knives that are the same size with the same finish and the same materials. Didn't make a whole lot of sense. But yeah, so these are the South Africans that I have right now. Next up on the list, I think I'm interested in John Arnold. He's the only maker that I had dinner with in New York that I don't own a knife from. I have Andre Van Heerden covered with the A squared, Thorburn, Harukas, Keith, and JD, as well as my other JD and my other JD. This is a JD fixed blade as well. I really like JD's knives. So yeah, John Arnold, he's the next one on the list. Francois Masson, I've had a couple of those. They've skedaddled since then, but I'll probably own another Masson eventually as well. I ordered a semi-custom style 55. I'll let you know. Oh, is that an Arias thing? Got it. I have not looked at all into his process or any of the names. You know who's got an Arias that I really like is Dr. Frunke. The pitting, right? The milling of the cutout. Excuse me. On the show scale, his carbon fiber scale is fucking cool, and I love Frunke Green. That's good stuff. I don't know if you guys have seen. I got that Frunke Green 21 slot now pack. Got to represent my Frunk bro. Darn it! I wish Josh was here. I should have texted him before I did this. I didn't really think about it. We are going to be doing something pretty cool here with Dr. Frunke, so that'll be good. Frunke's Arias is the best I've seen. Yes, Steve, 100% agree with you. There's no doubt about it. All right, guys, so it's been about 40 minutes. I have a low battery. Whoops, close that. So next time I do this, I'll remember to plug in my phone, so that way I don't get any low battery announcements. Taken up plenty of your time at this point, 30 minutes. Pretty cool. Thanks for stopping by. Before I hop off, do you guys have any other questions? You want to see any other knives? You have any, most importantly, thank you for being here for this test. Do you have any suggestions in terms of the setup? Was this reasonable to watch, this camera right here? Because this is like recording a recording sort of, so it does, I imagine, appear slightly delayed. I'm really hoping that it's, I know that it's not great, but I'm hoping that it's bearable and that it's watchable. Please let me know how this has all turned out. Is the sound good? Just what did you think? Because, so I guess, spoiler alert, the whole idea with this, the first live stream that I do, I'm going to try to schedule it 2 days in advance, so people can hopefully plan to be there if they want to be there. and it's going to be a sort of like collection. Numbers off the screen. Oh, because it's in the video. Probably not. I could make it big. Well, here, let me test it right now while I have you on stream. What if I do this, and then this, and then this? What about now, Steve? How we looking? Totally lost my train of thought. Oh, yeah, what I'm doing with this live stream thing. So I want to do everybody said, can you do a full collection video? I don't think I want to do a video because if I'm going to talk about my entire collection, again, there are 6 or 7 full custom knives not sitting on this table right now that are not yet delivered. So like I'm about to have a lot of stuff to go over. So I feel like if I do a full collection video, it's going to be a long one. And I think if I publish a video that's just an hour, that like people aren't going to want to watch that because it's going to feel like an hour-long commitment to like something that was pre-recorded. Whereas I feel like people are comfortable rewatching a really long live stream because they know it was a live stream. And so in many ways, other than the fact that they can't interact with me, is that, or with the streamer, is that you know, they can watch it like a live stream. It can still feel like a live stream. You can watch the chat as it happened and, you know, see everything as it's happening sort of in real time. So I definitely don't sorry, lost my train of thought. I definitely don't want to just like upload that as a video. So I want to do the full collection video thing as a live stream and then just kind of make it like an AMA and just have fun with it, right? It doesn't have to be all that serious, but that's the plan. Okay, so Steve says better in terms of the screen, so I will remember to do that. McLean says good stream, need more shrades though. You know, usually when people say something like, oh, like you don't have any cheap knives or whatever, or like they mention a certain brand, I'm almost always able to prove them wrong, but I don't own any shrades. Sorry, I was gonna be like, oh, you want a Kershaw? I can do that. Or waiting for it. Oh, you want a second Kershaw? Oh my God, that's completely covered in rust. Obviously, I haven't opened that in a while. You want another Kershaw? I'm actually gonna give this leak away sometime soon. And how about a 4th Kershaw? And so I don't have a Schrade, but hopefully this is working for you. A Rat 2. And wait, one more Kershaw. There it is. All right. Thanks so much for stopping by, guys. No Schrades, but I do have 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, I just hit the mic. That was probably loud. 5 Kershaws, which is not so bad, right? I'm not doing so bad. Thank you guys so much for being here for the test. Look out for the announcement. I'll probably do like a short little 1-minute announcement video for the actual live stream. Really appreciate all the feedback, and I'm going to go ahead and relax my voice and relax. So thanks a lot, guys, and I will see you next time.